Well, here I am back here at the job site, and hey, if you weren't with me on the last video, I talked about the concrete piers out here and things having to do with that. And of course, yes, the concrete truck was here, the concrete guys were here. They installed all of this stuff here too. And I talk about that in my previous video. I'm not going to talk about that anymore in this video. I'm going to talk, what are we going to talk about? Well, we're going to talk about the electrical. And I know the electrician was here today. See here, here's some of his wire. He's got shoved right up there. And as I was walking around the neighborhood, I walk around this way and go down the street and stuff. I saw him here and I thought, oh, hey, electrician's here. The framers were here. 4 different framers were here today. The electrician was here, I think just one guy. And then the concrete truck was here. 4 or 5 guys were out there pouring the concrete and stuff. But we're gonna just briefly look at this electrical. And I was gonna go out and start in the garage. But let's just talk about, I just saw this here. Let's just talk about this right here. Look at this. You know what this is? This is what the electricians build sometimes. And my electrician, he used to do that too. See this here? It's just a little funky thing. He's got a little bracket up there and he's got a little swivel on it. And then he'll unhook that and then he'll put a roll of electrical wire here. This looks like a 14 gauge 12-2 wire, okay? And he just sets it up there, and then when he starts running his wire, he's just gonna take it right from here and he just starts pulling it, see? He pulls it, and then this thing will twirl around and it will slide around, and it's kind of a good way to do it. And see, I see he's already started right here. Here's one of his boxes right there. And here's 2 wires right here. And so he's just getting a little head start on it. And tomorrow is Friday, and my thoughts are is he wanted to get a little head start on it, and he might be here tomorrow, or if not, guess what? They'll probably be here all weekend trying to get ready for an electrical rough inspection, because they're probably going to try to fit this in between jobs. That's my guess. And it looks like he's actually done quite a bit of work here today. See, he's got these, and they've stuck these out a little bit. See, about 3/8 of an inch, because this wall is going to have sheetrock on it. And so that'll be fine there. And he doesn't do this willy-nilly. He looks on the plans and figures out exactly where all of his switch junction boxes are, electrical outlet boxes are. He doesn't. They don't just look at it and take a guess, okay? They'll do things by the plans, and the electrician, he'll have a set of plans, you know, that look exactly like the approved set of plans, or he'll look on the approved set of plans or whatever. So he's done quite a bit of work here today, because none of this stuff was here yesterday, okay? And so see, he drilled holes. He put up some lights on the outside, and see that one's a cut-in box. See, he's got little wings on there. That's a cut-in box. This is a different type of box. It's got a bracket there, and they just slid that around where he wanted it and attached it that way. And there's all kinds of different boxes that you can use. See, he's got the other same type there. And you see, you can see where his lights are. Look at all the lights that are going to be on the outside of this house by the garage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there might be another one on the other side. No, that's 7 of them. Oh, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow. You know, he could have gotten by with not doing that particular one on the inside corners, that one. But hey, depending what kind of light fixtures they get, it'll probably look really nice. He's just gonna have to see, and see. It looks like he kind of did a boo-boo there. He was going to drill it there first, and then he put that back and moved it over. See, initially he centered it on this column. I can see. Then for some reason he decided to move it over slightly, and you see he did the same thing over here. Actually this one's centered on this column. Before he had it had it over closer. I don't know why he did that, because that one's now centered on that column. This one is not. This one is not centered on the column. Isn't that funny? Because centered on that column, he could have slid that over, but for some reason he didn't want to do that. I'm not quite sure. Maybe he looked on the plans and maybe they were offset a little bit. You see that one's centered. That one's centered on the column. This one's centered on the column. They're all centered. That one's centered. That one's centered. That one's centered. You know, from left to right. And except that first one. And he did have it centered initially. He did have that one centered initially, and then he moved it. I'm not quite sure why he did that. Okay. Okay. What have you? And so let's look at the electrical. Let's just look at this garage. There are so many electrical outlets in this garage. Isn't that amazing? There's all kinds of stuff over there, over here, right there. There'll probably be some light switches over there. And then he's going to have a big motorhome area here. So I'm sure he's going to have a workbench. He's going to have maybe a work table somewhere. He's got some electrical outlets in the garage. One there, one there. There's another one over there. I'm kind of surprised he's only got one in this area, because more than likely they'll probably have some cabinetry here, and they might want more than one electrical outlet. I would have probably put another one over there, but hey, such is life. They decided not to. Okay, and here was the electrical panel. And I'm just curious to see if the electrician was able to get that inside the wall. Remember, that's why they didn't have this plywood installed yet. Oh no, he hasn't done it yet. You see where this is here? This has to be moved over, because see where this pipe is? It's sticking out of the wall by probably 1.25 inches from where this goes straight across, and down at the end it's flush. But the electrician, I thought the electrician would work on that first before he started installing all of his wiring, because I thought the electrician could just heat this pipe up, you know, heat it up, and then bend this pipe down towards the bottom and flex it right inside the wall. Well, you know, somehow they're going to still have to do something like that. They can't just leave this out like that, unless they're like, oh, hey, we'll just bump out the whole, we'll just box this out a little bit and fur this whole thing out, you know, to fit it in there. But I don't think initially that they wanted to do that. What am I seeing here? This looks like some. Okay. These were some shots, but there's nothing in it. Okay. So here they even put an electrical outlet in. That way the different guys can run their extension cords off of here, off of the electrical panel. The electrical panel's hot now, and they got a GFI electrical outlet there. Okay, and speaking of that, all of the electrical outlets in the garage have to be hooked up to a GFI, and depending on how many outlets they have, they might have to run 2 different circuits in here for GFIs. I don't know. They'll have to look at that on the plans, and we can see here's a main line. Look how fat that one is. And see, they had to drill some holes through there. And anytime you drill a hole through there, you got to put a little plate on there like that. They actually didn't have to do that. That plate is so that when they install the sheetrock on this wall and they put their screws in the sheetrock, the screw doesn't go in through there and hit that. But the screws are only an inch and a quarter. Okay. So those would have been fine without it. They didn't have to really put those shields there, but they decided to do that. They put a block right here so that they could strap all their electrical wires through there. And see this big one, look at that. They had to get up in there. They had to get some tall ladders, didn't they? And they ran that one, boom, ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Look at that, all the way through here. And we can see where it goes. Let's just follow it, just for kicks. Because initially when I talked to the electrician, he said they were going to put an electrical sub panel over here. And look at that, I think that's where it is. It's right here. And they usually put a piece of cardboard over it. That's just kind of how they do it. We'll just see. It looks like it zips around and it's coming through there. And yeah, sure enough, there's an electrical panel. I thought that they were going to have a sub panel, and I thought they were going to put it in a closet or storage room or something inside the house, because then if you ever wanted to go and hit some shut off an electrical outlet or something like that, they could get to the breakers without coming into the garage. But here it is out in the garage. All right, whatever. That's where they got it. And see, when they drill their holes for different things, they had to somehow get their drill through there and then across there and somehow through there. That's why they have these plates here. Because see how close that is. If you didn't have that plate there, if you drill and put a screw right through the sheetrock there, it could hit one of those wires. And you can't say, oh, when the sheetrock guys are here, he'll measure up, he'll make sure he doesn't put any screws right there. Yeah, right. That never works. Okay? And so this was just going to be a quick video on them starting the electrical. All right? It wasn't going to be a complete one or anything like that. I can see where they've got coming over here. What do you suppose that's for? Yeah, that's going to be for a garage door opener, is my guess. That's probably for a garage door opener. They got some other wires here, one there, one there, one there. These are going to be for fluorescent light fixtures, okay, wherever those are. But isn't that something? I was going to say, they've got this one, but they don't have the next one for the other garage. But see, that's going to be for the garage door opener. And then you come over here, and this was for a garage door opener right there, boom. So you know, there's going to be one for this one. And sure enough, there's one for that garage door opener. And then there's going to be another garage there. That's what a garage door. That one's a garage door opener. This one, it's going to be for this big, huge garage door. That's going to be a nice one there. And so and then see where they've got their wire shoved down. That's going to be for a light fixture. That's going to be for a fluorescent light fixture. And lots of times they'll do that for where fluorescent light fixtures are. They may not even put a junction box up there. They just have that coming down, and the sheetrockers will just drill a hole right there, and then they'll put it up there. And then when they install their fluorescent light fixture, there'll be a knockout on the back side that goes right up to the drywall, and then this will come directly in from the back side, from the top side of the fluorescent light fixture, and then they won't need a junction box there. And it will be right inside, and it will be all per code. They'll put a little bracket on there, a little Romex connector or something, you know, a proper thing for when the wire goes from the back side of the light fixture up in through the sheetrock, okay, and up. And see, they're going to do all kinds of stuff like that. Now, years ago, whenever I ran electrical and stuff like this up in attics, we were always told, hey, when you run your wires, this is something important now. When you run your wires, you want to make sure you don't put them out in the middle of a bay, so that if anybody ever gets up in the attic later on, they don't just walk across and walk and walk and walk and step right on an electrical wire. Okay? Now maybe, and see, they just ran it straight across there. Now maybe they're going to get the framers to put a 1x4 along that, and then they'll staple that alongside a 1x4, because you're not supposed to let your wires go directly across to to where somebody can just walk down the middle and step on that wire, because if they step on the wire, they could short it out, stretch the wire, or anything like that. Whenever they have wires going this direction, they will take and staple it on the side of the truss. But see, when it comes out this way, they've got to do it a different way. And I think they just don't have the 1x4 in there, because we always had to put like a 1x4, and then we would put that on top of the 1x4 or a 2x4 and then nail it, flat ways on the 2x4, and then nail it on the side, staple it on the side of the 2x4, just like you would see something like that. You see what I mean? And so, he's just starting it. So, obviously you got to get the wire. You got to get the wire over there somehow, right? Okay. So they're probably going to end up doing something like that. Because see here, this main wire down the middle is right in the middle of this truss system. Okay, right where if somebody wants to walk there, they'll walk right on that wire. So when the electrical inspector gets here, he's not going to pass that. I know he's not going to pass that. He's going to make them put something up there, and maybe even this diagonal wire here. He may have to do that same thing there. Well, obviously the electrician, he's just starting. He's not ready for an inspection by any means. He's got a good game plan going, right? See, you can see he's got wire that comes up and along through there and back down. He's probably got some more wiring to do in here. He's probably got some light fixtures up in there, and man, he's got his work cut out for him. Let me tell you, because everything that he has coming out of here is going over that direction, at least to that sub panel. Then probably from that sub panel is my guess. Everything inside the house is going to go from that sub panel over there and go in there. So probably he doesn't have to pull any more wires out of that electrical panel and go zzz, and go way out into the house. You see what I'm saying? It'll just depend. He may have some big wires. Remember those big black wires we saw sticking out of the house? Well, those are coming from here, and that's going to be for his heating and air conditioning system. That's going to be on the outside of that plywood there. And those breakers are going to come out of that electrical panel. That electrical panel will hold quite a few different electrical breakers, and then this panel is going to be a smaller electrical panel. I think he said it was going to be a 40 amp or 50 amp main circuit breakers, and then from here he's taking that for probably light switches, light fixtures, and electrical outlets, stuff like that, coming from there and going all throughout the house. Ceiling fans, who knows, exhaust fans, all that kind of stuff. Okay, remember those black wires? They come all the way over to here. See? And isn't that something? These two black wires, sorry about that. These two black wires right here are going over to that electrical panel. And that's something. So he's got the other two black wires coming from there. We can just follow them along. Here's two right here, kaboing. And one of them goes over this way. Well, that comes to that. I don't know exactly what that's for. And then there's going to be, here's the other black wire, and that goes down up to here, over to here. Okay, so that's for something else. I don't know exactly what that's going to be for, but that's high-powered electrical, and it might be, who knows what it's for. Well, it's just work in progress. We'll have to see, because normally you don't have like regular light switches next to a garage roll-up door there. Maybe it has something to do with whatever type of garage door opener they have here, but I don't think so, because that's already run, as we saw from before. Okay, so I'm not quite sure what those are for, but the other two black wires come from that electrical panel, come over to there. So it's a mystery. It's a mystery to me exactly for what's going on with that. And when I talked to the electrician initially, way back a couple months ago, he was out here putting this electrical panel in one day when I was getting ready to leave. And I think he said there's only going to be 200 amp service for this entire house. Now, usually on a house this big, I would have guessed they would have more than 200 amp service, maybe 300 or 400 amp service. It's always better to go a little bit bigger than smaller, because you never know what they're going to add in the future. Hey, what if they? Oh, and you know what? Maybe you know what those two are for over there? I'm guessing. Here's what I'm guessing, that maybe those are going to be power stations for cars, electric cars. If they have an electric car, if they don't have an electric car, but they want to wire it up for an electrical station, and maybe that's for there and there. So when you pull the car in, they just unhook something right there and plug it into the car. I'll bet you that's what that's for. And maybe they're making the assumption, hey, we only have 2 electric cars in here, and there's our stations, boom, boom, and that's it. Or if they need to fill up one of their other cars, and they got 3 electric cars, they pull one out and put the other one back in and fill her up. And that's probably what's going on with that. Okay, but in any case, progress is being made for sure. Yes, sir. Well, that's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos. And you remember this? I mean, they were really working this today. See how wide this is? It's plenty wide to put plywood on here and stuff. They had this thing lifted up, and 2 guys were on that this afternoon, and they were just up there minding their own business, nailing that off. The guy's cutting his stuff right here, and they were up there nailing it off. No scaffolding needed, no big old long extension ladders needed. And the day before that, they had this thing up over at this section, and they had a whole section of plywood. They probably, I don't know how many sheets they had. They probably had not that many sheets, maybe 15, 20 sheets. They just had it set on there, and the guy lifted it up, and he just extended the arm way back in there, and they just cut it. They just cut it from there, and the guys were lifting it up there, nailing off the roof. One guy was cutting and measuring, another guy was measuring, another guy was nailing it off, and they just went to town. That thing worked so good for them. And obviously the guy had the guy, whoever has this, the contractor, he had to have it built specially. And I think the guys were strapped in there. Don't quote me on that, but I think they were, and there's plenty of areas for them to strap it and put a harness on, all that kind of stuff. But see, I mean, it's plenty big. It's almost 4 feet deep. Well, it's a little less than 4 feet, because plywood panels are 4 feet and they're sticking out. But look how long it is. And then here's your 2 areas for the forklift. He just picks that up, and then that thing has an extended arm, and they can just get it up there wherever they want to go. Wherever they want to go. When I first saw that on the job site, I was thinking, what are they going to use that for? They don't need that for framing. Well, they sure needed it for installing all the plywood on the outside of the perimeter of the house, and for the plywood up on the roof, and to get up there and cut in things and all that kind of stuff. That was a godsend, man. That saved them all kinds of time and money. Okay? All right. I'll see you next time.